loves, welcome to my channel. My name's Hannah. What would you say if I told you I manifested my perfect man and then 2 weeks later he walked into my life? So it sounds like a dream, but it's reality, right? And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, but also the containers within manifesting that we don't talk about when we talk about manifesting. I have manifested a lot of things in my life. I've manifested true love, but I've also manifested every house I've lived in. I've manifested jobs, even job days. I realise now when I look back that when I was young, I was always manifesting. And I remember as I got a bit older, I thought, I can get a lot of things that I want. And I didn't really make the connection. I remember writing in my journal that I really wanted to travel. And I had one of my mother's magazines and I picked up, I cut out some photos of Lisbon in Portugal. And I said, I'm going to go here. And then, 10 years later, I was in that city. I just manifested some money the other day and I woke up and I had a paid subscriber in my newsletter and I'd booked a tarot client and then I got a job reading tarot. I'm a big fan of manifesting and I believe that it happened. I believe that it's something that we can really do. So what is manifesting? So manifesting is when you put all your energy into something you want. But there are containers around manifesting that no one really talks about. So I'm going to talk about these first, right? So these containers, the number one container when you're manifesting is that it must be for your higher good and the overall higher good of all people. You're going to ask for things that you won't get. And this is generally because it's not what's good for your higher good. And it might be asking from a place of a more shallow, egotistic space, or from a place of fear. So for example, I've been manifesting a job for about a year now. I wanted some extra money. We need some extra money. So I've been trying to manifest that and I've been manifesting the days. Can I work Monday, Tuesday? Can it be, 20 minutes from home and pay me this much an hour and just an admin job? And I've been obviously doing the work and applying for jobs and I haven't got any jobs, which is very rare. Usually I can get a job. And I've realized recently that it's probably not actually what I want. It's probably actually not for my higher good to go into another office job that I hate, that fills me with dread, even 2 days a week, that I go into and I feel a bit like a trapped animal and it's not probably serving my higher good, and that's probably why my prayer hasn't been answered. But I've manifested a job reading tarot at a shop. And the turnover of that manifestation happened in about 2 weeks, yeah? So it's kind of like the universe, I'm like, okay, you're telling me that this is kind of what I need. So in terms of manifesting is you want to ask for what you need and then understand that things will be in a container. So A, it might not be for your higher good and what you actually really want. And B, it's a timing thing. Timing's a big thing. I've manifested things and I've got them in 2 weeks and I've manifested things and it's taken a year or 6 months. It's very similar with magic. You have to understand that things take time. Another container with manifesting is that, as Ronald Dahl said, those who don't believe in magic will never find it. It's very much the same. If you turn your nose up at manifesting, if you think you're too good for it, if you think it's woohoo, if you think it's silly, ridiculous, if you're cynical about it, whatever, your energy is going to block anything that you ask for. And also, if you don't believe in love, this video is about manifesting true love. If you don't believe in true love, you're not going to find true love. Which brings me to my next container. You have to have courage. You have to have courage to manifest and to believe things that you can't see and to hold the faith and to believe that when things don't come your way that it wasn't meant for you or that it's just a matter of timing, or to keep surrendering to the universe and say, okay, I know that you've got my higher good and I know that you're going to give me what I need. This takes courage. Most people will shut that out. They don't want to be seen as a fool and they just think, oh, this is crap, and they close it, So these are the containers within manifesting. It's like, you're not just sitting there being like, I want $1 million and then it comes to you. There's things around it, which I think that people don't talk about very much. So when we talk about manifesting, how I manifested true love. So I still believed in true love, but I was in a more of a surrender state. My way of manifesting is very simple and it's very well tested because that's how I do it and it always works. I like to manifest in the shower. One of my places I like to manifest in the shower. It's something about like the warm water, feeling relaxed, feeling safe. There's clarity and I'm inspired in there. And the way I manifest is I have to talk it out. I'm an air sign. I'm very much, it's how I process things. I talk. So that's how I manifest. I talk like I'm in a conversation with a friend and like that thing I want has already happened. It's very concrete for me to be able to like engage in a dialogue with someone like, and that I've already got something. It's a very easy way for me to do it. And I do it when I go for walks and I just act like I'm talking into my phone. Who cares? Don't worry about being silly. But I talk mine out. So in the shower that day, I made a very specific list in my head with what I wanted. And again, to my higher good. What I mean by that is I wasn't shallow or egotistic in what I wanted, which I think showed that I was in touch with everything in my body. So you might want a really handsome, good-looking, wealthy man with a nice car, and that's fine. You're allowed to want that, but it might not be what your higher good is really after. And when I talk about your higher good, I mean like the bigger picture, the connection with the universe. You know what your greater purpose is, whatever it is, like your stardust quality. But then also when I talk about higher good, I'm also talking about like what your body really wants and your spirit really wants and your heart wants. It's not just a mind thing. You know, I want someone that's wealthy and is going to take care of me. That's okay, but that might not come in that way. So for instance, the things that I remember that I asked for, because it was about 10 years ago now, but I remember that I wanted someone who had a very distinct sense of humor, which was attached to mine. Like I wanted us to laugh. I think I remember saying I wanted us to laugh the way me and my sister laugh, like really like boundless laughing on the floor type thing. But it's a particular sense of humor, right? And I asked that he be kind. I wanted him to really, really love me, and I wanted him to love my intensity. This was a big thing for me. I didn't want him to be turned off from it or it scare him. I wanted that to be the thing that appealed to him the most. So I was very specific in this list. I wrote it in my head, I said it out loud, and I imagined it being written out on paper. Then I let it go. It was kind of like, this is what I want, this is what I deserve, and I'm not going to settle for anything else, and this is it. Like, this is what I want. 2 weeks later, he walked into my life. And the case of the way my husband and I met, you know, he was from England on a 3-week holiday. He wasn't even meant to be in Melbourne. Things had changed in plans, and it was just a spare, okay, let's just drive down to Melbourne. So it was very, very like magical in terms of our story of origins. But it was like practical magic when Sandra Bullock, you know, she writes out her perfect man, she puts it into the stars thinking it'll never come, you know, and then he shows up at her door. It's like I spelled him into existence. Spelling, you know, there's a reason why we call it spelling, you know, words have power. So it's like, you have to believe in that. 2 weeks later, he walked into my life, and we have the exact sense of humor. Like, we laugh so well together. It's one of the best things. He really, really loves me. He's very, very kind. And the first thing that drew him to me that night we met was my intensity. He loved that I was intense and vulnerable. It's what he found the most attractive about me. I manifested him out of thin air, essentially. And he was really tall and handsome. So even though that wasn't really on my list, it came to me anyway, you know what I mean? Because your higher good wants you to be, you know, happy. It wants you to thrive. What to remember when manifesting? You must feel it down to the bone, and you must feel it like it's already happened. This is really important. It has to be a whole body experience. If it's not a whole body experience, then it's not going to come your way because something's going to be blocking it, right? The other day, I remember a couple of weeks ago, kind of manifesting something I wanted on YouTube. I wanted, like, you know, quick, big fame or whatever. And I was manifesting that, but I could feel this niggling thing that was like, I don't want this. This is not what I want. And I was like, I listened to that, which was my intuition, which I'll talk about in a minute. But that was like, oh, I don't want this. This isn't actually what I want, right? So it needs to be a whole body experience. And if you're really feeling it like it's happened, that's going to be a really good indicator that this is what you want, because your body's going to be flooded with excitement and endorphins and joy, you know? If it's not, there's going to be a niggling feeling that's like, oh, I don't think this is right, you know? Another thing you must remember when you're manifesting, again, I've said to your higher self, but you have to listen to your intuition when it comes to manifesting. And the way that you know it's your intuition is like, listen to your heart, listen to your gut, listen to your body. You know, that's really where your intuition's going to fuel from. Your mind can process things and come up with these ideas. Okay, this is what I want, and I want it like this, and it has to make sense, because with another point, You have to be very specific when you manifest, but then your body's going to tell you, really, is this what I want? You know what I mean? So my next point is that you have to write it, talk it, draw it out. As I said, you know, the way I manifest is like I'm talking with a friend and the thing's already happened. Having it already happen is very, very powerful energy. There's infinite timelines out there. So the timeline where you meet your true love, or the timeline where you make $4,000 from YouTube, it already exists. You just have to call it in towards you, right? Be specific. You have to be specific. You know, when we manifest houses and stuff, we're very specific. It doesn't always all of it coming to fruition. For instance, with this house, we manifested it, but it doesn't have a bath, right? So you're not going to get every single thing maybe, but the more specific you are, the more energy you're putting into it, right? That's really what it comes down to when we're talking about specifics. The more specific you are, the more energy you're putting into it. My most important point really when it comes to manifesting, what you must remember is then you must surrender and let go. You have to trust the universe. You have to trust that they have your higher good. That's what the universe cares about. She birthed you from the stars. She wants your higher good to be achieved. But you have to surrender. And if you manifest things and you get really angry and bitter and things don't come to you very quickly and you just think, oh, this is silly, it's a load of crap, I don't believe it, then you shut down your energies. You have to stay open. It's something I have seen so clearly over the last 2.5 years, that I've asked for things that haven't come to me, and I've felt disheartened, and I've thought, what am I doing? And then slowly by slowly, when I look back on these 2.5 years, everything I've asked for has come to me. Sometimes it doesn't come to me in the way I thought it would. Sometimes it comes to me exactly the way I thought it would. But the thing is that I've trusted, I've surrendered, and I've believed in a higher power. That's really the important thing when it comes to manifesting. I really believe in manifesting. It's something I truly believe in. It's something I've seen in concrete terms come to fruition. Most importantly, with the love of my life, my husband that I've been with for 10 years, that I have a baby with. That feels like one of the biggest blessings of my life, that helped me believe in the higher power, God, angels, blessings, whatever, magic, when I met him. So I really believe in that. But you have to keep your heart open. You have to be brave. I hope this video helps. I hope it makes you feel empowered. I hope it makes you feel like a magical being. I hope it makes you believe in magic. And yeah, if you like it, you know, push the like button, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.